Hello everybody, it's Brian for GadgetUnit.com, and in this video I'll be bringing you a quick review of the Google Nexus 6P manufactured by Huawei. You can pick this up for $499 for the 32GB model, $549 for the 64GB model, or $649 for the 128GB model. It also comes in 3 different colors: white frost, black graphite, and silver aluminum. The fronts on all 3 stay black, and I would like to thank Google for sending this out to me for review. For the full specs, you can find those in the written review that's linked down below in this video's description. So let's start out with the design. It has an all-metal body, instantly giving it a well-built and premium feel. Despite its large size, I thought that the 6P was fairly usable with one hand. It has aeronautical grade aluminum, and it's not really as slippery as I thought it would be, and it feels great overall. The darkened graphite model that I had impressive looks, but it did get a few nicks here and there after a few weeks of being pulled in and out of pockets and used without a case. The power button and the volume rocker are located on the right side. The power button, which is textured, is above the volume rockers. I wish that the power button was actually below it, because it's something that you want to access more when you're using the device with one hand. I found that all 3 of these buttons are pretty easy to press, and I did find myself on many occasions accidentally pressing them when trying to pick up the phone. The top has the 3.5mm headset jack, which I wished was on the bottom. The left side has a nano SIM tray. There's no micro SD card slot on this phone because Google doesn't like expandable storage for some reason. And the bottom has the USB Type-C port. The front has our large 5.7-inch 1440 by 2560 resolution display, the 8-megapixel front-facing camera, earpiece, and 2 front-facing speakers. On the opposite side is our 12.3-megapixel rear-facing camera, dual LED flash, a microphone, as well as a circular fingerprint sensor. On the note of the fingerprint sensor, it works very well for unlocking your device and for authorizing things such as Google Play app downloads and purchases, and it also gives your finger a resting spot for when you're holding the device with one hand. Primarily due to its all-metal body, I really do like the way that 6P looks, especially given its minimum $500 price. It does have the look and feel that you would expect from a device that costs that much. One of the best features I think the Nexus 6P has to be its 2 front-facing speakers. To put it simply, they do sound great and are some of the loudest speakers I've ever heard on a smartphone. Even at their maximum volume, audio still manages to sound great and it doesn't distort. Everything from music to basic system sound effects such as notifications are all great to listen to. Speakerphone calls also sound great using the front-facing speakers as well. Moving on to the display, to me I think that smartphone displays are to the point where you can't really get any better unless something mind-blowing was to happen to them. So for the 6P, it seems to check all the right boxes. It's bright, it has great viewing angles, it's saturated without overdoing it, and it works well outdoors. Because the screen has 518 pixels per inch, text is extra crisp and photos and videos have an extra bit of detail to them. It's a fantastic all-around display, and it's one that you actually want to stare at for a while. Because this is a Nexus device, the 6P runs a pure stock version of Android 6, also known as Marshmallow. You get no carrier bloatware or any extra features that you might not want, so it's a very smooth and bare experience that most people will probably like. If you've used unskinned versions of Android before, you'll probably love 6.0. In terms of unique features, there really aren't any that I can think of. It's just a stock experience. That's just that. It's stock. It's very much tied into the Google ecosystem. There's not a lot of junk, like I mentioned. Just very clean overall. With its 8 cores, the 6P's CPU handles intense tasks without any issues. There was never a point where I wanted the 6P to perform faster. It simply did well in all regards, including opening apps, playing games, loading web pages, and so on. It has 3 gigs of RAM, unlike the 5X's 2 gigs, so switching between multiple apps was completely a non-issue. Even though the battery isn't removable, I never thought that it needed to be because the 3450 mAh battery is plenty large to get you through the day with moderate to heavy usage. If you're more of a light or average user, 2 days shouldn't be a problem. You'll just have to modify your brightness here and there. Various software optimizations and Android 6 also help with this. I tested the 6P with T-Mobile in the US and it did very well in regards to call quality and data speeds. I found its antenna to handle low signal areas exceptionally well and was perhaps the best device I've used when it comes to that. It also supports voice over LTE, band 12 LTE, HD voice calls, and Wi-Fi calling. I didn't really test Wi-Fi calling because I have unlimited data, so I never use Wi-Fi. And the last thing to briefly talk about is the camera. Nexus devices have never really had the best cameras, but they've never really been that bad either. They certainly get the job done. The 12.3 megapixel rear-facing camera does well outdoors, especially once you turn on HDR, though it could be a little bit quicker when taking photos with that turned on. 4K videos are expectedly crisp with options for video stabilization, and it can also record slow-mo videos at up to 240 frames per second. It wasn't that great with shots with less lights, but it still held its own, I think, just fine. If you don't have extremely high expectations for mobile cameras, I think the Nexus 6P will do you just fine. So to conclude, the Nexus 6P review unit was one of those rare devices that I wish I didn't have to send back. It was just really enjoyable to use. The premium feel was fantastic. It has great performance. Stock Android is a bit basic, but it still gets everything you want to do done. The battery lasts plenty of time. Cameras aren't bad either, and the speakers are absolutely amazing to listen to. So if you're looking to spend anywhere between $500 and $650, the 6P should certainly be on your list of devices to take a look at. So that is it with this video. If you have any comments, questions, or feedback with this or anything else, feel free to leave it down below in this video's comments section, and that's it with the video. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you all very soon.